are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 614 of the New York Knicks podcast. Mark, before we start, can I have a moment?
Sure. What
right.
do you want to do with this moment?
So we've done apology episodes before.
Okay.
A few of them. They never go well. Lance Thomas
Okay.
apology. Anyway. I want to do whatever the opposite of an apology episode is. And
Wait. Are you going to, like much of my Twitter feed, blame all the Knicks woes on Julius Randle? Go for it, Jay.
I am not going to blame all of them on Julius Randle.
Are you really? You're not gonna. You're gonna be like, oh, I know. No one can hit a three. I know no one can get a rebound. I know all these things are going on, but Julius Randle is the only reason we're losing any games and tips.
You're using a lot of superlatives.
Yes, but I really think people are going a little. I don't want to defend Julius, but I also don't want to like have him be like, this is the guy, this is the reason, because there's a lot wrong.
I think he's a big part of it. I think when your team leader is playing like this, it's a huge problem. And the fact that somebody was able to make a fairly lengthy clip show of all the defensive rotations Randle missed from just last game, not like this series, just this one game, is a problem. How do you come out in a must-win game and just look like you don't care and don't try on defense? You can't blame the ankle. The ankle is fine on offense.
Actually, it was Julius Randle's best offensive performance in the playoffs.
Shooting-wise.
It's like statistically. Like, not that he had a great game, but stat-wise.
If you look at the 8 for 13 shooting, yes. But
yeah, I'm not talking about how his overall game was. I'm just saying statistically, it was the only game I think he's played in the playoffs where he shot well.
Yes.
In 2 years, in the Atlanta series and this series.
Well, I looked.
Or in this year, yeah.
I looked back at Atlanta, Cleveland, and Miami, and he has shot 40% or better 4 times in those games. One of them was exactly 40%.
Okay, that's a total of 5 games against Atlanta. There was 5 against, but I don't think he played all 5 against Cleveland. He missed one of the games.
He missed
right?
one of those games, yeah.
For 4 games against Cleveland and
13 games.
Okay. So first, I want to just your premise that Randle is the team leader. I think that's not I don't think he's the team leader. I think Brunson has already surpassed him. Brunson is clearly the team leader at this point.
Okay, but you'd have to agree he's one of the main guys on the team.
Oh, absolutely. He's one of the main guys, but Brunson is the team leader. He is the guy. Everyone looks to Brunson at this point, including Randle.
Andrew's like excited for a positive episode.
Okay, let me ask you. Why is it Randle so it seems like when I watch the Miami Heat, they seem to play every game, including last night, like every game is game 7 of the NBA Finals. They have that level of intensity in every game. And the Knicks, Cleveland said they were great, but the last 2 games, at least like 2 very, very important games, the Knicks had the intensity of game 4 of the preseason.
They had the intensity of next year's in-season tournament that nobody's going to care about.
Yes, they had the attention. They had the intensity of the finals in the summer league performance.
Rob said the only way Julius Randle's situation could get any worse is if he thumbs down the fans again.
Oh my God.
No, but seriously though, like he looked like he wasn't trying on defense. Like I get we don't have the best defenders on the team, and RJ and Brunson got roasted a few times, but at least they looked like they were trying. At least they were running around. There was clips of Randle just walking, and also, how does he not know how to run a fast break? Like every time he had a fast break, he turned the ball over. Like he's just barreling through people or throwing balls at Mitch's ankles, and then it turns into a turnover. Like it was like those were momentum killers. Both of those fast breaks where he just turns the ball over. Like the Knicks could have pulled to within 4 and had momentum.
My understanding is Randall has been using, as far as defense, he's been using thoughts and prayers to play defense. Okay. And they work really well. They protect our schools. Mm-hmm. And the thoughts and prayers, you may think like he's just standing there doing nothing, but thoughts and prayers are guarding Jimmy Butler or getting the offensive rebound.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, so maybe I'm going to have to take back some of my ranting at the beginning.
I have to say, so Randall had a good statistical game last night. Jay is right. There are clips out there on Twitter. You can find lots of clips from last night where Randall looked disinterested or just, I don't know if disinterested on defense, just like kind of standing there not knowing what to do on multiple occasions where you're like, do something, box someone out, try to guard. How could you be out there at this important of a game and not like trying on every play?
It's like, are you standing within arm reach of literally anybody on the Heat? No, you're in the wrong spot. Move somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, plenty of Knicks do that. I mean, RJ Barrett, RJ Barrett had a good statistically offensive game also, but there's plenty of plays where Barrett's just standing there and you're like, why don't you cover the guy standing at the 3-point line instead of just standing there under the basket where the play is not going on?
Yeah.
But so here, I don't want to talk, first of all, Jay, I do not want to talk about the offseason or anything that happens after this series. The series is still alive. The Knicks are still playing one more game at the very least, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about the offseason.
Yes, we will.
But right now, there's no great solution at power forward because you're right. Randall has been playing not great. Obi kind of sucks also.
Yeah.
Obi, I know people are like, why does Tibbs make Obi stand in the corner and just shoot threes? Obi apparently watched Steve Novak growing up and just loves to shoot threes to a very annoying extent. The dude can jump through the ceiling, but can't seem to figure out how to drive to the basket and dunk most of the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tibbs doesn't play him a lot because he's really bad on defense. But if Randall's gonna play like that, like Randall also had 6 turnovers, like.
No, I'm not. So I'm not advocating. So I think the minutes should be a little closer. Maybe give Toppin 20 minutes, give Randall 28 minutes. I don't know, or give him closer. Maybe Randall needs to play like less and more like go like, hey, we need you more intense out there. If you're getting tired, we'll play you for 30 minutes or 28 minutes and just be more intense in those minutes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Well, first of all, there was a rumor that Tibbs and Randall got into they were yelling at each other in the locker room after the game. I don't know if that's true or not.
Do you want to? We have the leaked audio. Do you want to cut to the leaked audio of their fight?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to? I'm not pretending this is fake, but Jay, do you want to be Tibbs?
Sure. Hey, Randall.
Yeah. What's up, Coach?
You know how I base my entire existence on defense?
What's defense?
Yeah. See, that's the problem. What are you? Year 9?
Yeah. My son's 9.
You don't know what defense is.
What's defense?
You know the guys in the white jerseys?
Yeah. We're the team that wants it more than us.
Yeah. What? Why do they want it more? Why don't you want it?
I don't know why they want it more than us. I mean, they don't. I listened to Giannis's speech. He talked about there's more than basketball. There's life. Life is more important. And so I'm taking that motto into the most important games.
Could you do that like in June or July?
When the other team has the ball, they're running around a lot. I could trip, I could injure my ankle, and then I wouldn't be there for my kids. So I am protecting myself and my family.
Wasn't that didn't Derrick Rose say that one of those years?
I don't. Probably one of our impressions. Randall hasn't been good. There's so many problems on this team. Can we talk about just overall problems here?
Yeah, we could talk about overall problems.
So, if you had I asked this on Twitter, but if you had 5 minutes to talk to the team, before the next game, what kind of things would you tell them? Should we go back and forth a little bit? Can you come up with some ideas of things we tell the team?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll start here. So, listen, the Heat are the best team in the NBA at drawing charges. When you're going to the basket, they're going to stand in front of you, and then you're going to commit a turnover when you run into them. Stop running into them. Pay some goddamn attention, everyone. And by the way, if they run into you on defense, when you're playing defense, it's your fault. The refs don't give a shit.
Andrew wants to add, look like you're interested in trying.
Oh, okay. Look like you're interested in trying. Actually, don't even look like it. Actually be interested in trying.
Yeah, being interested in trying is a key, I would say, to winning. I would be like, Randall, if you show up as emo Randall, I'm just not even playing you. I want to see a smile on your face. If you show up with that puss on your face and you start walking around, you're just sitting on the bench. I'm sick of that shit.
So I saw I guess we'll go with more advice, but I saw someone broke down the Heat. So the Heat were amazing on the offensive board yesterday, and they've been really good on basically rebounding the whole series. And they pointed out in this Twitter video, on Twitter, a video from the game last night, the Heat strategy. I think I said that to you? You remember what their strategy is?
So their strategy was to basically, half crash the boards. Was that it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the idea really is you're shooting a lot of threes, and threes usually have longer rebounds because the ball usually, when you're trying to box out for the rebound, usually you're like near the basket, and you're trying to prevent this defender from getting there, and usually the defense gets that rebound because usually the defense kind of is positioned better. What they're going for is, hey, a lot of rebounds ricochet, especially when you're shooting threes. Let's attack the free throw line, kind of get middle behind basically where the defender is, and catch the ricochets. Mm-hmm. And when you shoot threes, there are lots of ricochets, and there were so many plays last night where the ball would just come off a little like in a not like ordinary way, and they would be there at the free throw line basically to get the rebound and extend the play. It happened time and time again. It was clearly Spoelstra's clearly his strategy, and it was goddamn brilliant because the Knicks should have the advantage in rebounding, and he tipped that to his side because he's an amazing coach, and it's goddamn frustrating.
Also, when they do that, the Knicks don't box out.
Well, they were showing like on some of the plays where like they had one play, RJ had the position. He's boxing out, but because the ball ricocheted behind him where he just wasn't going to be able to get the ball, the guy who was boxing out just like ran backwards and got the ball.
Right. Yeah, I noticed RJ does box out a lot. A lot of the other guys do not.
But you should have the advantage in rebounding, and what you really should do is when the ball is shot, everyone gets the nearest man. You have to freaking box out. You have to. Everyone has to be responsible. And the guards have to be looking for the rebounds because there's so many goddamn rebounds that would go to the guards that just didn't happen because the Heat did a better job. They hustled more and they were just better positioned.
Yeah,
Mitch, they brought Mitch away from the basket a lot, which would hurt us or iHeart. There was one play where RJ and who was standing there? Maybe was it RJ and Grimes were waiting for the ball like shot over the basket. They're both just standing there watching the ball just like ricochet out of bounds because neither one of them could just assert go like I got the ball. So they both waited for the Heat to get the ball back basically. You remember that play where the ball goes over the basket and Grimes and RJ are just standing there watching it go out of bounds?
No, I don't even remember that one.
Oh, they're both watching it, and like the ball like ricocheted off both of them. Basically, it was ridiculous.
Great.
It seemed like every time the Knicks had a shot to do anything, the Heat would hit a dagger because they can hit open threes. The Knicks can't hit a goddamn open three.
The entire team went cold. I mean,
it is unbelievable.
Did you tweet that? They went from 35% to 28% from the regular season to the postseason. 7% swing is huge. That's like from best in the league to worst in the league.
So the Heat in the regular season were 27th in the NBA in three-point shooting, and they were shooting 34.4%, which is not good.
Right.
Playoff Heat is the second best shooting team in the playoffs, shooting 38.5%, which would be good enough for second best in the NBA during the regular season. Knicks regular season were 35.4%, which was not that great either. Playoffs are 28.2%, worse than all the playoffs. His 28.2% for a full season would be historically terrible.
Yeah, I've never seen. I mean, you do that for a game, it's really bad. To do that for now 9 straight games.
I'm assuming the only times teams shot that poorly for a full season was like when the 3-point shot was invented in the first few years. Maybe some teams shot that poorly, but they also probably took like 2 threes a game.
Right, exactly.
It's been such garbage from 3. So basically, more advice for the team. I saw something also that the Knicks actually are taking more open threes than Miami. Something like the Knicks have 15 open threes a game, and Miami has 11 open threes a game. And the Knicks just aren't hitting their shots.
Well, I mean, it's taking away Brunson's game because they don't even care. There was one play where Brunson's in the middle, and there's just a wide open Hart in one corner and a wide open RJ in the other corner. Miami doesn't care. They're not threatened by either of those guys.
I mean, in some ways, you would wonder if, like, hey, they're up 3-1. Supposed to just be like, hey, guys, for one full game, we're just not going to cover 3-point line. Everyone's going to pack the paint, and we're just not going to cover it at all the entire game. It might be a successful strategy.
I mean, why would he mess around with, like, these games haven't been box score wise like huge blowouts, but they feel.
No, I mean, I'm making a kind of a little bit of a joke, but like the Knicks just can't seem to hit open shots. It's unbelievable.
But these games have looked way worse than the final score would.
Well, the last game, game 3, the box score looked pretty bad. The Knicks lost by 19, and they should have lost like 35. But the Knicks did enough right last night to keep the game close throughout. They should have won last night. I mean, realistically, the Knicks like should have won last night's game.
Do you know what the Knicks have to do? And I hate to say it, but the
Play
Knicks
defense, get rebounds, stop turning the ball over on dumb plays. Like, be careful. Like, don't just lollygag and let them create a turnover.
They need to flail and flop around because it works. I mean,
It really does.
the reffing and it's not why the Knicks lost. So don't send nasty grams. That's not why the Knicks lost. But the reffing was definitely lopsided in the Heat's favor, and it was because they flop and they do dirty. Lowry's a dirty player. They were targeting Brunson's ankle, but that's besides the point. Flailing and flopping gets you calls in today's NBA. I hate it. I hate watching everyone do it. But if you're like Randall and RJ and you drive and you just take the contact and keep going, you don't get the calls.
So I agree with you. So first off, like the number of free throws that have been taken, like the Knicks actually shot more free throws than the Heat did last night.
Yeah, because the Knicks are doing ISOs and driving a lot more. The Heat are just feasting on wide open threes. So you're not going to take as many free throws when you're taking wide open threes.
No, that's a fair point. I mean, it really seemed like the Knicks, like they would swallow their whistle for the Knicks, and for the Heat, every dumbass small little thing that they call a foul.
I mean, Hart's 5th foul was a phantom foul, and his 6th foul he got hit in the face. Like,
His 6th foul, he was leaning in. He had his face in the guy's like right there. I understand why they call it a foul. It wasn't such a ridiculous foul. There were a lot of ridiculous fouls. I don't think Hart's 6th foul was a ridiculous foul.
Well, the 5th one was a phantom foul, so that was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I saw the video of the 5th one. That was phantom. There's just the calls. It does seem like the Knicks get hit a lot. It's why players like Embiid and Harden and Chris Paul, half the good players in the league do so much flopping because it's the only way to get calls, and it creates an advantage because then you can't play defense on them. The Knicks don't like to flop, and I guess it's really a disadvantage. If Randall would just like fall over like Embiid does, and like when you touch Embiid like the slightest bit, he falls over like he died. If Randall would do that more, he'd probably take more free throws and be a more effective player.
Right. I know it sucks and it's embarrassing, but like if the refs are going to call games like that, then you gotta do it. And I hate that I'm even saying it, and I hate that I want the Knicks to do it because I hate
don't
every
want the
player.
Knicks to do it.
They have to. They have to. They're not going to win if they don't. Like
Okay, so other things the Knicks need to do. If I have more advice for the team, Every goddamn possession matters. Every time you pass the ball in, you're going to take the ball up the court. Do not assume the Heat are going to wait for you to like pass the ball in and kind of dribble up the court. The Heat are going for the ball on every goddamn play. Pay some goddamn attention. There were like 2 or 3 turnovers yesterday where they just passed the ball and the Heat like grabbed the ball basically and like stole the ball because the Knicks were just like taking it nonchalantly. In the biggest playoff game they've had in maybe 20 years, the Knicks were taking plays nonchalantly. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, there was one play where Randall kind of just flipped the ball to Brunson and it got stolen for a fast break.
It's so absurd. And the
that was
fact
like
that the Knicks were doing that crap and they were in the goddamn game is so crazy.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you might think like, oh, they're up or down like 25. It was like a 6-point game at that point. Like, what are you doing?
It's amazing the stuff that was happening about how many offensive rebounds that the Heat were getting. How many times the Knicks just turn over the ball on the dumbest freaking play possible.
This is literally the Knicks or the Cavs right now. Like this is the exact mirror image of last series.
Yeah, basically the look of the Cavs in Game 5. You knew they had to come out. They had to win. Their backs were against the wall, and you watched that game, and the Cavs looked like they were defeated from moment one. It looked like they just didn't have the effort, didn't have it because they knew they were going to lose the game. And the Knicks have had that look all last night and the night before and the game before.
Well, also just the getting 3 and 4 offensive boards on one play, like that's the kind of stuff the Knicks were doing to the Cavs. Is Bam that good that he's like feasting on Mitch, or is it just like Mitch posted on Twitter that this is happening because he has to help everyone on every single play, which might be a fair point.
He's not wrong in some way. So one thing I was listening to another Knicks podcast, and they were making the point that one of the things is like stop doubling everyone, especially Jimmy Butler. Stop doubling him because it creates an open man all the time, and you're always it helps Miami get the mismatch. It helps Miami get a guy open all the time. Do you think doubling Jimmy Butler is a good strategy?
No, they have too many shooters to do that, and they move the ball way too well. And Butler is a good enough player where he can see that and pass it out. There's some guys, they might be on the Knicks, where if they get double teamed, they're not going to see the open player and swing it out. Butler will do that.
So Randall does swing it out at some point.
He does sometimes.
RJ
I feel like.
No, but what I was going to say is what I noticed is Butler makes a really fast decision every time. Randall does not make a fast decision.
Well, I was about to say, I feel like Randall like has it in his mind before he even drives, before it even happens. Like, I'm taking this all the way, even if I get double teamed, or I'm going to pass this out on this play. He's not thinking while he's doing it. I think before he even drives, he knows what he's going to do.
Well, I feel like Butler trusts his shooters. Like when Butler gets doubled, his first thought is, oh, good, there's an open shooter. Mm-hmm. Randall gets doubled. His thought is, shit, I have to get rid of the ball.
I don't know. He might even just be like, I'm the best guy on the team. I should be taking this shot.
I think he really he wants to take that shot, and he's like, shit, now I have to get rid of the ball. But he really he's not playing team ball because he's like, I need to get the point, and now I guess I'll give the ball up. Where I feel like Butler's really like fine giving the ball up because he knows his teammates will hit the shot.
Rob
he trusts his teammates more.
Rob's saying that Tibbs doesn't really have an offensive plan.
No way.
He doesn't. It doesn't seem like he has a defensive plan either, though. Like they haven't been getting. They haven't been getting the defense. Like it's not like the defense is losing them games. It's a combination of things, but the offense has been worse. The offense has been worse. I mean, the defense needs a lot of work, but it's not like they're giving up 120 a game.
Right. The offense seems more like, I mean, I guess they're both issues. I mean, like the guys are just, to a certain extent, the Heat also just hitting open shots. Like they became such a much better shooting team than they were in the regular season. And I guess Tibbs probably also, he always has the game plan of like, we don't need to guard the 3-point line as much because teams eventually will miss those 3-point shots. The Heat are not missing. You need to guard the 3-point line tighter.
Or at all.
At all, yeah. I mean, but the Knicks actually, I think they took more open threes than the Heat did last night.
Rob said Jimmy knows where everyone is and where everyone should be, whereas Randall is probably going in blind. I read that at first as Randall is probably going blind, which was funnier.
I think though he has an idea where guys are supposed to be, because sometimes they have turnovers because Randall passes to where he thinks the guy's supposed to be and the guy moves.
Yeah, there is some of that, and that is part of having a young team. But it also seems like I see where they have a Randall or a Brunson or an RJ ISO, and when you have like a Butler ISO, other players are moving around, whereas on the Knicks, everyone's just standing in their spot. And so if the defender is standing between the guy doing the ISO and the player on the three-point line, the pass isn't going to get through. There's no movement. Everyone's just stagnant.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, bigger picture here, Randall's been an issue, but also the advantage the Knicks had going into the series, one of the advantages was the bench. The bench has been garbage. IQ when he played, and he didn't play last night, and he'll be out for the next game. He's been terrible. No one is playing. You're getting almost nothing from the bench. That's a huge issue.
Yes.
You were just like, everyone said the Knicks had a deeper team. The bench was one of their advantages. The bench minutes are terrible for the Knicks. The rebounding has not been an advantage. The Heat have been better beat rebounders. And the Knicks have been a team where we fight. I guess we said this before, but the Knicks get more second chance balls than the other team. Or more 50-50 balls. And the Knicks just aren't doing that. They're being out hustled. As Randall, do you think Randall should have said this? But he did say last night, it seems like Miami wants it more than we do.
Who doesn't want it enough? Get him off the team. I don't want him on the team. Trade him.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that maybe next show.
But seriously, that you can't, in a playoff series, you're saying the other team wants it more? Get bent. Seriously.
I mean, clearly the Miami Heat wanted it more than Randall and a lot of the Knicks team last night. I mean, who played well? I mean, Brunson really wanted it. Brunson had a good game. Really no one. I mean, Barrett's stats were decent on offense, but he wasn't that great either. So Barrett shot 9 for 16 last night, so there's really no issue with his shooting. At the same time, every time he has to, he goes to the basket and has to take a floater or shot 5 feet from the basket. How is he so bad in those shots?
I'm not even upset about playing poorly. I'm upset about just not looking like you're even trying. I get.
That's where no one else. Mad. No one else looked like they tried any less than Randall, but everyone else looked like crap. Also, Josh Hart, who was like the dog, has been pretty bad. Also,
yeah.
Hart was not good last night. He had a bunch of fouls, turnovers. Can't shoot a 3 anymore. He's non-existent on offense.
He said that. He said he was bad and he's got to get better. Brunson said he's got to play better, even though he by far was the best guy on the team. But he still said, "This is on me. I got to play better." And then Randall's just like, they wanted it more.
Yeah, I mean, fine. So Randall didn't give the right answer, but and he also was looked. He had good plays also last night. The charge. Do you think they should have all these? Should they change the charge rule? Because
we've been talking about this for almost since the show started 14 years ago. If the guy has a position for a split second and you need slow-mo to see if it's a charge or a charge or a block, it's a block. You can't expect somebody running at full speed to make that adjustment in a tenth of a second. It's stupid.
Someone on Twitter made this point. They were saying they said I get if the guy covering you gets position, you run him over. That seems like a charge. It's when the guy sneaks in while you're driving to create this situation where you're running into him, endangering both individuals, so we can draw a charge. It seems kind of ridiculous when you can run in and just running right under guys as they're jumping. Basically.
How many injuries have we had just in this playoffs from crap like that?
All I know is if I ever drew a charge, I don't think I'd get back up.
Yeah. But I feel like half the injuries in the playoffs now are either the from the charge call or from somebody just flopping. I feel like half the injuries have happened because of that.
I would like to see a major injury from flopping, Harden or Embiid, maybe Embiid, where he falls over and then injures himself and he's out for the rest of the series because he flopped. That would be hilarious.
I mean, I would like to see somebody break down all the injuries that have happened over the last couple of years, because they say there's more injuries than in prior years. But is that because people are just falling on the ground all the time now?
I mean, you did advocate flopping a little while ago for the Knicks.
Yeah, for this series, absolutely. Like I said, I hate it. I hate it, and it's gross. But if the Knicks don't join the club, they're going to be out.
We have some questions that I want to go to, but Jay, I want to ask you. You said you were not nervous early in the series. Mm-hmm. Did you, not the Knicks, did you underrate the Heat?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you want to apologize to the Heat? You want to have an apology episode for that team?
No, not at all. With all that dirty shit they're pulling? No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
By the way, I have a question. And I just more like so if the Heat, I guess if they win this series and they go on to win the finals,
yeah.
How does it work next year? Do they have the same refs like show up to the ring ceremony? How do the refs get their rings?
The funny thing is, I saw Heat fans blaming Game 2 on the refs, and I'm like, you guys got balls blaming anything on the refs after this series. How you know what happened? 2006 made them and 2012 made them forever entitled, and now they think they should get every call.
What did you think about what did you think about the lineup with starting Grimes? Was that the right move?
I think it was the right move because I felt like Hart energized the bench.
I mean, he didn't. Hart sucked last night, but in theory, he would have.
I mean, you got to go with what was working up until that moment, and for the last couple weeks of the season and the Cavs series, you had Grimes starting, you had Hart off the bench. It worked great. Didn't work last night, but I don't think that I wouldn't say like shame on Tibbs for doing that. We were saying Tibbs should start Grimes last episode.
I mean, Grimes is one of the true like 3-point shooters on the team. It does add to spacing. He actually Grimes only scored 9 points last night, but he was his best offensive game he's had in the entire playoffs. I like the move, even though it didn't work out all the way. Okay, Nomad writes, time to look forward, friend. Quickly for Gary Trent on a sign and trade for more shooting. Who says no? I'm going to save all questions for the offseason to the next show. Is that fine, Jay? Do you agree with that? Can we save all? I mean, we'll have plenty of time to talk about things when the series ends. Can we save it?
Sure, but Quick got injured, but I have to say, I don't know if he's a good fit. I know we were praising him a few weeks ago, but this team has no shooting. He's a great defender. You need some shooters. You have to.
He's supposed to be a shooter, Jay. He's supposed to be able to.
Look at the last 3 years of his stats. He hasn't had one good shooting season.
He became a pretty good shooter this year. Yeah, are you like disparaging his whole season? He had a pretty good year.
He shot 37%, which is fine. It's slightly above average.
From 3.
Yeah, from 3. He's slightly above average. The Knicks don't need slightly above average. The Knicks need a guy who is like every time he shoots the ball, you're like, oh shit, he's shooting the ball.
Okay. Well, the Knicks need that also, but he's a two-way player. His offense is getting better. You have to stick with guys and develop them. He's only 3 years in the league. Quickly will get better. Plus, you can do either you could wait it. You can wait a year to sign Quickly, or if you want to sign him this offseason, instead of having a huge price tag, I think Quickly's value has gone down dramatically. You can probably get him on a good contract if you want to extend him now. He's not getting the $100 million he wanted before. There's no way.
No, it's not. I'm just okay. We'll save.
You could trade him. You could trade him right now for Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole will be making $28 million next year, and then I think $30 million the next year. Last night for the Golden State, he played 10 minutes and scored 0 points. That is $28 million the Golden State spending next year.
That's bad.
Jordan Poole, who was awesome to get that contract, looks goddamn terrible in the playoff for them. Bruno writes, why does Tibbs? Don't you think also that the Knicks have gotten now they can extend Obi on they can extend IQ on a pretty good deal. Obi, if you want to extend him, you can get him on a pretty good deal. And the Hart contract can't be that bad now.
We'll save it for next episode. The Knicks need to make 2 moves.
Okay, we can talk about. Okay, Jay's going to get 3-point shooters who can play defense and be all-stars. Bruno writes, why does Tibbs never make set plays?
It's a great question. If we were a more popular show and we could get somebody on the coaching staff, we would ask that, because it really just seems like the clipboard, he wrote ISO in permanent marker and he doesn't realize he could buy a new clipboard. So it's just, that's his clipboard now. It just says ISO.
Who's the coach of the Celtics? Joe Mizzou, what's his name?
Missoula?
Missoula? Whatever. He basically twice in the last game did not call timeouts with the game on the line because he didn't want to. He didn't think drawing up a play made any sense. Also, and my bigger point here is a lot of teams have issues with their coaches. I mean, Nick Nurse and Coach Bud, who both very recently won titles, were fired this offseason, or were fired when the season ended for their respective teams. I mean, we can criticize.
Denver's coach was their fans are mad at their coach.
Everyone's mad at their
and they finished
coach.
with the number 1 seed.
I mean, in the offseason, we could talk about whether Knicks should move on from Tibbs. But like whatever critiques we have, lots of teams have critiques for their coaches. Spo is clearly a better coach than Tibbs, but Tibbs is still a pretty good coach. But yeah, he should drop some stuff.
We should keep in mind Spo is probably the best coach in the NBA.
I mean, I guess Pops also 1-2 there.
Yeah, it's 1 and 2, and honestly, I don't even know the order anymore.
He's Spo's a hell of a coach. The Smoker writes, how much the referees are getting paid?
It's been bad. It's been bad. I'm not going to blame it on the refs because the Knicks have played like garbage, but the reffing has not been neutral.
All I know is the team the refs are rooting for have been winning the games. Terry writes, can you take a poll? If we lose to the Heat, was this season a failure? Let's just do a poll of the two of us, Jay. Yes or no?
No.
It's insane. It's insane to call the season a failure.
Before the season started, we thought the Knicks were going to win between 35 and 40 games, barely make the play-in, and get absolutely smacked by the Bucks.
Our future, despite this series not going the way we wanted, we've made the second round, and our future looks a lot brighter than it looked before the season started.
Well, I mean, just the fact that they finished 5th seed and won a round, that's way more than everyone thought they were going to do. This series is a huge disappointment, but that doesn't make the season as a whole a disappointment.
I mean, so many things have gone right this season. I mean, people were like, the team will not win if Randall's the best player. Okay, we found another guy who's who's now our best player, who's a point guard.
Right.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We got a lot going. The team has a lot going for itself. It's just this is a frustrating way. This is a frustrating way. I mean, we don't know if the season will end next game, but this is a frustrating way for the season to end. Jet, if you don't win the title, you lose in the playoffs. Every team but one team ends the year in a frustrating way.
Yes, but I wouldn't mind losing this round if it was competitive. I just feel like, despite the fact that 2 out of 3 of these losses, they didn't lose.
They were
by
competitive.
That much.
The box scores have them being competitive.
It didn't feel it. It didn't feel it at all.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks haven't looked great in the series, but like they haven't been out. They only were out of game 3. They got their asses kicked. All the other games they were in. I had that feeling the whole game last game that just like they don't have it and they're not going to do it. It's the second time we've gone to the second round in 20 years. This is progress for this franchise.
It is. It is.
And Rob responds, we were projected to play-in team that's about to get eliminated by a team that over the last 3 years made the finals, was the number 1 seed, and made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And this year eliminated the number 1 seed. So no shame in losing this series, in my opinion. We are on the right track.
That is true. I think we got thrown off by their underwhelming regular season, which seems inexplicable at this point, considering their last 2 years, and it's almost the same team.
Yeah, I mean, they're missing Hero, but like, and Oladipo, I guess, also, but like...
Oladipo was a big part of this anyway. Yeah,
they had a lot of injuries throughout the year, and maybe also after having 2 very good seasons, they didn't like push to win every game because it didn't matter as much because they were going to be fine in the playoffs. The Heat are, I mean, they're one of the top 4, if not top 3 teams in the East easily. I guess they're top 3 because they beat the Bucks, so they're better than the Bucks right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
decisively beat the Bucks.
Yeah, they won 4-1. I know Giannis missed a couple games, but like they won. Rob writes, after seeing how Julius performed this playoffs, do you believe it's a good idea to keep him longer term or try to move him at some point next year? Personally, I feel like the ankle was a problem all playoffs and would like to see him being fully healthy. Would have changed his performance significantly before I actively tried to move on from him.
I feel like the ankle wasn't an issue on offense.
I mean, the ankle could be. I mean, in some of the games, maybe not last night, but in some of the games, the ankle was a real issue. By the way, Brunson's also injured. Also, his ankle is apparently he's in a lot of pain, but clearly he is stepping up anyway.
Bam stepped on his ankle, and then Martin put his foot under his ankle on a 3 on purpose. It's on video. So like they've been re-injuring Brunson's ankle constantly. So Brunson's still been the best player on the Knicks, despite him re-injuring his ankle like 3 times, like just last night.
So if there's a regular season game, Brunson would not play. It's only because it's the playoffs. I think Begley asked him before last night's game, like, "Are you injured?" Basically, and he's like, "What do you want me to say?" And what do you expect me to say? And he's like, "I assume you're going to say I'm just ready to play." And he's like, "Yep, I'm ready. I'm available to play."
If it was
like,
LeBron, he would have been walking out in a walking boot. Maybe playing the next game, but after they lose, LeBron likes to.
In fairness, Jimmy Butler his ankle probably hurts him also. Guys are injured. It just happened. So do you give any? In Randall last night, you might say ankle injury, whatever the ankle injury, he looked fine in offense. Like it's not an excuse, but is it some level of like maybe the ankle has bothered him throughout the playoffs, and maybe like we should not be so quick to move on from Randall?
No.
Okay.
I'm done making excuses. If the ankle's fine on offense, the ankle's fine on defense, and vice versa. And you can't be sprinting at full speed and making cuts, and then as soon as the Heat get the ball, be like, "Oh, now my ankle hurts." Like that, I don't buy that. I think he's dogging it on defense, and it's garbage. And despite his good shooting last night, he had 6 turnovers, so I'm not even going to call it a good game. I don't think he's had a good playoff game, and now we have 3 playoff series of evidence, and that's a problem.
He was injured last play against Cleveland.
Whatever. I defended him for 2 years for the Atlanta series, and now he's looking like garbage 2 series later. It's I hate it. I'm so mad.
First, if we all think he's garbage, chances are his trade value is not amazing. It's not going to be easy to upgrade from him at power forward, and also our in-house option Obi. I know people love Obi, and maybe you balance their minutes a little more. I think Obi's still a pretty limited player and doesn't give you that much more than Randall. They just have different qualities, but they're both hugely flawed. They're both hugely flawed
Obi's not
players.
the answer. We said it last episode. Randall still draws double teams. Obi will not. And to structure a championship team, you're going to have a star that draws doubles and then a bunch of 3-point shooters around him. The Knicks don't have the 3-point shooters, and if you get rid of Randall and you don't replace him with either a star or a bunch of 3-point shooters, you've taken a step backwards.
Well, it's also like you need more than one guy that can draw double teams. If Randall's not there, you can double team Brunson, and that's a problem. But you need someone to take some of the pressure off of Brunson, and no one else on the team does that.
Yep.
By the way, like Gabe Vincent last night was just like he was assaulting Brunson on times to prevent him from getting the ball when they were going up court. And like there was this one play I saw online where Vincent fouls him 4 separate times and the refs called nothing.
Yeah.
It's absurd, basically.
Anthony writes, I fucking hate that Heat are playing so fucking dirty and the media is talking like nothing happened.
I mean, forgetting the dirty part of it, is there some points in the game like the Heat were pressing the Knicks? And I'm like, why can't the Knicks just press the Heat every once in a while? Just throw some different looks at them. We have a defensive guru, and you can't like go like, hey guys, for the next play, let's play press. Let's just let them try to beat us on that every once in a while.
They got to do something.
They don't
different.
throw different looks at them.
No, they don't. They don't.
Where I really both throws out different looks, it really throws guys off. Paul writes, "Wow, look at the." That's related to the photo I posted, which had nothing to do with the game. I just find a photo and Daryl writes, we can forgive missing shots, etc. We can't forgive seeing them get pushed around, pushed back, happen in the first round too. Do you guys agree? Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Anthony writes, unless we win in 7, I think Julius Randle experience has to come to an end. There's no signs of him being the guy to help the Knicks in the playoffs. Other notable things to change in this bench. The change is the bench. We need shooting and defense. IQ might be out too. Everyone's ready to blow things up. Is there any, in fairness, is it the Knicks? Like the Heat are a veteran team. They are tested in the playoffs. The Knicks are not. Are the facts that the Knicks are young and they're playing one of the best teams in the East, if not one of the best teams in the NBA? Are those like defenses to all this?
Yes, I'm not saying blow the team up, but there's definitely it's shown us where the weaknesses on the team are and what needs to be upgraded.
I mean, do you think some of this beyond upgrading the roster, some of this just gets better with guys like assuming the Knicks play, they get back here next year, they get back to the playoffs, the Knicks will be better for this experience?
I think they'll be a little more confident, maybe have a chip on their shoulder. I don't think it's going to address the shooting.
I mean, the shooting is a big issue. I mean, this is the 3rd rated offense in the NBA, by the way, Jay.
Well, in the playoffs, right?
No, I mean, no, I meant the Knicks.
Oh,
the Knicks
yeah.
tied, remember, for 3rd best offense in the NBA.
I don't.
In offensive rating, whatever you want to think of that advanced
Offensive rating and defensive rating are complete garbage. I don't like those stats. Some guy was arguing with me on Twitter today saying Randall was the best defender of the game yesterday because defensive rating told him that. And I was like, yeah, but if you watch the game, Randall was one of the worst defenders on the court for both teams. So defensive rating's garbage.
I mean, is there a way you can upgrade the team, keeping Randall, but maybe getting more play? Like, the thing is also, okay, Randall has not been great. Do the Knicks win if their bench just plays like the regular season bench?
Probably. Definitely,
yes.
If Randall actually tries on defense and the bench plays like that, then yes, definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, but forgetting Randall, if the bench plays like it's been playing the entire season, we win this series. If guys can hit their shots like they were doing all season, like there was plenty of things wrong here. I still think it's too much of a focus on Rand. Randall's an issue, but there's everyone besides Brunson has, and RJ has been good on offense, but he's been not that great on defense. Like, everyone is an issue. Mitch, what the hell's up with Mitch? He's not that great. I mean, he hasn't been that. Mitch was awesome in Cleveland. He's been the opposite in this series.
Yeah, I mean, even the poor shooters on the Knicks, if they shot their season averages, the Knicks would have 10 extra points a game.
I guarantee if you just picked a fan at random in the game and let them shoot Mitch's free throws, they would do a better job.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
fun fact, Mitch is shooting the 3rd worst free throw percentage in the playoffs of all time. Of all time.
What I find shocking is that there are 2 worse free throw percentages in the playoffs.
Mitch is shooting about 30%. Andre Roberson shot 28%, and some guy in the 1940s shot 26%.
Roberson wasn't even a center. I don't even understand how he was that bad.
Roberson
the centers are not usually good at shooting free throws.
Roberson was a historically bad shooter from the field, and that's why, even though he was a borderline elite defender, he was out of the NBA after a few years because he could not hit a shot from anywhere on the field.
Yes, he was. He predated Ntilikina, but he was. That's what people hope Ntilikina would become, that world-class defender that made that. Oh no, I can't talk about Frank. But yeah, Mitch should shoot 1,000 free throws a day in the offseason, or shoot between his legs. He wants a bigger role in offense. You cannot play offense if you can't shoot a free throw because you're going to get fouled every play. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I just, at some point, the Knicks are going to be in a close game, and they're just going to do hack-a-Mitch and then go on a run.
I mean, in theory, he has the tools. He has the athletic ability to be a force on offense, but he can't because if he starts scoring, people are just going to foul him. Frank writes, I think if we were told in September that this team would win 47 games and make it to the second round, we'd all be very happy. I think maybe we need to walk back from the ledge a bit. Tibbs is fine. Our core, Brunson and Randall, is fine. I think we're 1 star away from being a true contender. Thoughts?
Well, thank you for taking us off the ledge a little bit.
I mean, if the Knicks kept Randall, kept Brunson, and added one more star player, they'd look a lot better. One
Yeah.
more guy who can just get shots.
How are they going to do that, though?
They got draft picks. I don't know, Jay. We're supposed to have a war chest that we can trade.
True. Andrew writes,
Okay.
can Jay flop like the Heat players next time his cat nudges him?
David writes, what's more frustrating? Randall's toxic attitude, the Knicks' inability to land an open three, having to listen to Heat sycophants throughout every broadcast with no other option.
It is pretty brutal that we just get like Reggie Miller's and Doris Burke's. Like, we can't get like a neutral guy. What's Kevin Harlan up to? He's the best guy, and I haven't seen him at all.
I want Van Gundy.
Yeah.
How do you not give one game to Van Gundy?
Just one game.
Just one game. Come on. We're all who's tomorrow? What channel is the game on tomorrow? Is it ESPN or is it TNT?
I think it's TNT. I didn't
TNT. Okay, so the only way the Knicks are it's ESPN if they make it to Game 6 on Friday. So we got to make it to Game 6. Got to do that, Jay.
Shimmy says, I just want to get Game 5 so we can keep this respectable. I had said before the series that we only win in 7 or lose in 6. I hope I'm right one way or the other. Well, I hope you're right about the win in 7.
I mean, getting to 6 would make this much more respectable. Calvin writes, also for the players with a small Calvin writes, why are we not playing Mr. D Rose? They need him for 48 minutes. They need to play old school basketball on both here and on the road. Call a timeout to make sure the lead does not grow. Also, for the players with a small injury, wrap it up. Play just like the old school 90s Knicks. The big question here is, why not play D Rose? Is he an answer, Jay?
At this point, I think he's sat too long. I don't think he's going to do anything more than what maybe like McBride would be doing.
I think McBride will do more. And this is not a knock on D Rose. Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry are both really good players. They're veterans also, but they've been playing. It's going to be really hard for D Rose, who's not been playing all season, to like suddenly look good.
Yeah. And same with Fournier. The Knicks need shooting, but he sat for so long at this point. It would be unfair to put him in an elimination game.
Fournier's a really good shooter. He shot terribly this season because his minutes were inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's not the answer. Samuel Wilkes writes on Instagram, I do not think Mitch is good enough at center. His rebounding numbers just aren't good enough. He doesn't add enough points, etc. I'm being harsh. I just feel he's average. Bam's numbers from last night would be really nice right now. And feel Mitch is okay in the rotation, but not as a starting center. If we can't add an elite player to this squad, I feel a quality center who puts up 10 rebounds, 10 to 15 points every night would help this side against the elite. Still positive for the future, though. Really enjoyed this roster for the most of the season. What do you got to say to that, Jay?
I don't think Mitch's numbers are that bad. If you look at, how many minutes he's playing versus how many rebounds he's getting, he's rebounding at a pretty good rate. He doesn't play like a ton of minutes because iHeart's coming off the bench. And
He played 33 minutes last night.
Yeah. He got 7 rebounds. It's not terrible.
I mean, part of it also is, and there's so much. I mean, the Knicks just got clobbered on the boards last night, but a lot of games also where his rebound numbers are a little lower is because he's boxing out and someone else gets the rebound because he boxed out.
I mean, I think with iHeart we're fine with Mitch because more times than not, at least one of them is going to be having a good game, and good enough that we're fine. I feel like there's way bigger holes on this roster than center.
I mean, this is also, the comments come after the Knicks, between Mitch and iHeart, they roughed up Cleveland, and they were a huge part of beating Cleveland. So they're having a bad series. I mean, I would give more minutes to iHeart for Game 5.
Yeah.
But generally, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know if Mitch and I think they just need to get better, but they're not like I don't know if that's where I'd upgrade the roster.
Shimmy
And
says, "Do the Knicks boo Randall if he sucks again? And if we boo, do we prevent a star from coming here?"
stop booing Randall, stop booing players. I don't know if it's prevents, but I also think it doesn't help. Like we can cheer for guys. You don't have to cheer for guys. You don't have to cheer for Randall. But what do you think of the booing at this point?
If they're putting an effort, don't boo them at all.
Okay.
If
Well,
you
then
see
you're saying
people
you're
walking
saying
up and
boo
down the
Randall.
court, you can boo them. Yes, yes. I mean, if you're not trying and you pay friggin' $700 for a playoff ticket, boo away. Like I'd be furious as well.
So, Jay, Sam something or other, Sam Justad on Instagram writes, I got 2 tickets for the Heat game tomorrow night, 7:30, section 113, row 11. He cannot make it. If you send him a DM, he would not just you, anyone, I guess.
Yeah.
He'll give you a good deal. How much would you pay for those tickets, Jay? What's
Three-
the most you would pay? Not that you have to DM him. Just wondering.
Oh, section 113.
Yeah, that's a quite seats.
Yeah, those are really good seats. I wouldn't pay more than 500, and that's just because one, I can't afford more than that, and
I'm shocked you were going to pay $500. I know they're great seats, but they're also I don't
two,
think
I
I'd pay
just feel like
$500
I'm
to
going to
every
be
game.
angry, and I don't want to pay more
Yeah.
than 500 just to be angry.
You know, you can get like the tickets tomorrow. I mean, you can get tickets for as low as like they're bad seats, but you can get like as low as 240, 250 right now per ticket. And like you can get decent tickets for like 270, 280 right now.
Wow, that's like cheaper
And
than
actually,
last round.
I honestly think if you go to the game like and try to buy tickets at like the game starts at 7:30, if you try to buy tickets at 7 o'clock, I bet you can get something for like something decent for like 220, 230. You want to go to the game tomorrow, Jay?
No. Nope. Shimmy says biggest concern going to the playoffs was dropping Randall's stock, but as compensatory note, RJ's stock went back up. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean RJ's stock. RJ just needs to get he needs a floater around the rim. I don't know why he can't hit a shot around the rim, but if he gets a floater, he'll be so much more dangerous around the rim. He's actually shot the 3 not horribly this playoffs. Play some better defense. I guess basically, do you have a lot more hope for RJ than you had going into the playoffs for next year?
I do.
And beyond.
He's been a pleasant surprise. He was looking really bad for a long portion of the season and the beginning of the playoffs, and middle of the Cavs series he completely turned it around, and he's looked pretty good. He hasn't looked as good in the Heat series, but he's looked better than he did at the beginning of the Cavs series.
Okay, I'm going to go back to this, Jay. It's a young team. The Miami is by far the veteran team here. Should we be overall? Knicks probably will fall to Miami at some point. Not to be a doubter, but they'll probably fall to Miami in this series. Can we just say this is a young team and they're going to get better going forward?
Say whatever you want.
I mean, you don't believe that on any level? That part of the reason Miami is winning this series is because they're a veteran team.
I mean, is Vincent, Strus, and Martin like vets?
I don't know. They've all been in the playoffs multiple times.
Yeah, but they're
I mean,
pretty young.
I don't know if were they on a couple years ago and went to the finals. The guys have all been playoff tested. They were in the conference finals last year.
okay, but it's not like, the vets are.
I'm not
Lowry
saying.
and-
But in fairness, they also have Butler. They have Kevin Love. They have Kyle Lowry. They have some really good vets on this
they're
team.
definitely the more experienced team.
Is that a factor? I guess is that a difference maker more than we were willing to admit in the playoffs?
It is. They know the tricks.
Yeah.
That play where Lowry basically just put Hart's arm under his armpit and then flailed around like Hart was grabbing him. It sucks and it's shitty, but that's a vet move. And when you're in the league 15 years, you know to do shit like that and get calls. I hate it, but that's a vet move.
I mean, not that this roster is necessarily going to win the title, and the Knicks do need to upgrade. But even with the current roster, I really believe Grimes will get better. I believe you keep IQ, he will get better. Both guys will contribute in the playoffs going forward. Brunson will remain awesome. RJ will get better. Mitch and Ihart will better figure out how to deal with matchups like this in the future. Like, it's a young enough team that I see this team like. I have some hope that this team like will learn and get better from here. I don't think it's. I think we. I mean, whatever. The series has sucked, but we should be optimistic about the overall season and where this team is going.
We're nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Jorge writes, "Hey guys, seeing Melo in the crowd last night was great. Can you imagine if Leon was the GM during that era? He would have 1,000% waited till the summer to sign Melo and not trade our depth." Probably, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we can spend a lot of time talking about how to upgrade this team. So they got game 5 coming up. How are the Knicks going to win this game, Jay?
They're gonna hit some threes. They just shoot league average, and you win the game. It's that simple. I mean, they lost by 8 last game, shooting like 0%.
I mean, just shoot better from 3. I think Grimes will shoot a little better. Brunson will shoot a little better.
Hit some free throws.
Be more careful with the ball. I have to think that Tibbs is paying some attention to the reason they're not getting rebounds and is going to make some adjustment.
You think Tibbs is gonna? Okay.
You don't think? I mean, I know we joke about Tibbs. You don't think Tibbs makes adjustments? Like, you think he's just a terrible coach who just sits there and just like goes, "I don't know what's going to happen, but don't guard the 3-point line. Not going to drop a play."
No, I think he's going to make some adjustments. Is the ref the extender for Game 5? We need the extender.
It's freaking bet. We need Scott Forster so bad. The NBA, listen, NBA, this is a match. I know the heads of the NBA all listen to our show. They have to. They have to. You want a Game 6. It will be great for ratings. Do you want to make money? Get a Game 6. Get a Game 7. You'll make a boatload of money.
I can't believe that the refs make such a difference.
They make such a difference. They really, I mean, they were the 6th man for Miami. They've been the 6th man all this whole series. There are just so many dumb, like that play, I guess it was a couple games ago, where Randall's his back is turned. Lowry runs into him. He gets the ball, but also almost knocks Randall over. And then Randall kind of grabs him. They call the foul on Randall, and you're like, Lowry just ran into him. You can't run into a player.
Yeah.
The Knicks are going to hit some threes. They're going to take care of the ball, get the rebounds. The Knicks are going to show some heart. They've got 2 hearts in the team. They got to show some goddamn heart for the series. Will you be really disappointed if they lose tomorrow night, Jay?
I'll be disappointed. I already think I've lost all faith. So, if they lose, I'm just like, okay. I kind of mentally prepared for this already.
I have good news for you, Jay. Mm-hmm. You want to know my good news? Mm-hmm. I am giving the New York Knicks podcast guarantee, and we've never broken out this golden guarantee, but we're breaking out the golden guarantee. The golden guarantee that the Knicks win Game 5. I cannot say what happens the rest of the series.
Wow.
But I guarantee the Knicks win tomorrow night. I guarantee they show heart. Show multiple hearts because I got 2 of them. And they hit some threes, take care of the ball, and they win the goddamn game, and they make us feel good for one more time this season.
Knicks podcast golden guarantee.
Guarantee whatever money you want to put on it, do it now. The Knicks are winning tomorrow night.
All right.
So don't be a doubter. Go with us. The Knicks are winning. Put your life savings on it. It's going to happen. It's a better investment. It's a better investment than Bitcoin.
Andrew said we're screwed after that guarantee.
Absolutely. Jay,
the refs are announced 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Scott, you have to do this. I don't want to. We're announcing at 9. You have to do this.
They must know beforehand, right? They can't just be like, wake up, fly to Miami.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the NBA is like, well, where do we need Scott Foster the most? By the way, so we're recording, so we're not watching right now. The Sixers look like they're going to go up 3-2 on the Celtics.
Unbelievable.
4 minutes ago, they are up by 21 points. What do you think of real quick in every series. What do you think of the Celtics, Sixers?
I'm torn because I don't like Smart at all. Basically, I root against floppers in every series, even though I just said the Knicks should flop.
There were
but
there are a lot of floppers.
Harden's probably my least favorite player in the league. So, unfortunately, I'm forced to root for the Celtics just because I can't root for Harden.
I've not watched the game, but Embiid shot 10 for 11 from the free throw line, so he seems like he probably had real top-notch flopping going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you think of
Maxi's really good. And
Maxey is really good.
I
Yes.
think
what
he's putting the Sixers over the top.
Okay. I mean, they are currently winning, and they look like they have a pretty good shot. I mean, they're going to be up 3-2. You never know, but the Maxey has a huge game. Maxey is the guy that everyone thinks IQ. Every
Yes.
IQ fan thinks IQ is.
Yes.
Maxey's the actual guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think about the Suns, Denver? 2-2. Looked like Denver was going to roll over the Suns. Now it's 2-2.
Really rooting for Denver. It's the last team other than the Knicks that I actually like.
Yeah, I think I'd root for the Denver to win the title if the Knicks go out. Yeah.
I can't root for Chris Paul. I think. I mean, obviously, I think it's just cheesy that KD joined this team. Like, I can't get behind that.
I mean, I will actually root for any team over KD. Actually, if Vladimir Putin sends the Russians to play the Suns, I'm going to root for them over KD. And what do you think of what's the last series? Lakers versus Golden State. The Lakers are shockingly up 3-1.
I can't believe it. I'm really surprised.
Lakers might go back to the finals.
God damn it. Go Nuggets. Anyway, we're NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. If you want to leave us a voicemail, I think it might work to call in live too. 516-584-4112. And nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is our email. If you want to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon, and youtube.com/TITOWAJ. And for the first time in 614 episodes, Mark let me get through all of our plugs without interrupting me. Thank you, Mark.
Can I ask you one last question, then we end the show?
Yeah.
Jay, will you second the guarantee that the golden guarantee the Knicks are winning tomorrow night?
Yes. Golden guarantee the Knicks are winning tomorrow.
Let's do this.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back soon.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye.